Which city in Asia Minor was captured by the stratagem of the wooden horse during the Trojan War? Troy. Why have Mycenaean pottery and crafts been found in many distant regions? Because of its extensive trade network. What is the Protestant church that Henry VIII of England established? Church of England. In Sparta, what term referred to state-controlled education? Paideia. Which philosopher of the Cynic school practiced an extreme form of asceticism? Diogenes. During World War II, which country's regime, the Nazis, led the genocide of the Jews? Germany. Among the international military tribunals held to punish war criminals after World War II, what was the trial of Nazi German war criminals called? The Nuremberg trials. What are the three classes of the ideal state proposed by Plato? Rulers, guardians, and workers. What military system did Rome develop in order to learn from and overcome Hannibal tactics? Reformed legionary tactics. What did humanism emphasize? The individual's reason and worth. In Sparta, what was the state-run military education system for boys called? The agoge. Which emperor revived the Frankish kingdom and greatly contributed to the development of European culture? Charlemagne. What were the followers of Jesus Christ called? Christians. What technological developments enabled the Minoan civilization to expand its sea-based trade? Navigation techniques and shipbuilding. What was the extreme racial segregation policy implemented in the Republic of South Africa? Apartheid. In which ancient city of the Mycenaean civilization is the so-called Lion Gate located? Mycenae. In the religious beliefs of the Minoan civilization, which goddess was regarded as most important? The Earth goddess. What words did Alexander the Great reportedly speak about his successor just before his death? To the strongest one. Chariot racing was popular in the Byzantine era. What was the name of the huge stadium where these races were held? The Hippodrome. Within the social structure, what roles did the kings and nobles fulfill in the Mycenaean civilization? Administrative and military leadership. What was the amphibious operation that the Allies carried out against Germany during World War II? Normandy landings. What was the building in Athens where public officials gathered to conduct state business? The Prytaneum. Which animal played an important role in sacred rituals and sacrifices in the Minoan civilization? The bull. What way of life did Lao Tzu's philosophy encourage people to follow? To live naturally without force or compulsion. Among the road networks developed by the early emperors of the Roman Empire, which was the most important road? Appian Way. After the Russian Revolution, what was the main feature of the new economic policy, NEP, led by Lenin? Partial introduction of a market economy. In the economy of ancient Cretan civilization, what was one of the most important industries? Pottery production and the textile industry. In a feudal society, what were peasants who had obtained their freedom called? Free peasants or freemen. What was the warrior class in Japan that was abolished after the Meiji Restoration called? Samurai. What new means of transportation in Britain's Industrial Revolution played an important role in linking cities and factories? Railways. What role did the Library of Alexandria play? It served as the center of Hellenistic learning and culture. How were the walls of Assyrian royal palaces decorated? With reliefs and wall paintings. What was the deadly epidemic that drastically reduced the population of Europe in the 14th century? Black Death. During the Han Dynasty in China, what representative product was carried to the West via the Silk Road? Silk. Which musician descended into the underworld to retrieve his deceased wife? Orpheus. What system of government did Pericles in Athens develop? Democratic rule. Who was the scholar who published On the Origin of Species in 1859 and presented the theory of evolution? Charles Darwin. As a result of the Crusades and increased cultural exchange between Europe and the East, which representative spice was introduced to Europe? Pepper. Which artist painted the ceiling frescoes of The Creation of the Heavens and the Earth, commonly known as The Creation of the World, or The Creation of Adam? Michelangelo. What event led the United States to enter World War I? The sinking of the Lusitania. Thank you for watching until the end. We'd love to hear your feedback and historical insights in the comments. Your support helps us create even more history quizzes. Let's keep exploring together.